Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to the best bets. Today we're taking a look at quickly UFC Fight Night Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer, which is taking place today, March the 28th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are looking at the early prelims to start it off for the best bets, and we will end with something on the main card. We will look at 4 best bets, we will look at a couple props, and we will look at least 2 underdogs that can cash tonight. And we're going to get into it starting off with the best bets, and that is Alexia Thanera against Bruna Brazil. The early prelim is really easy. We're going with Alexia Thanera to win by submission or decision. She's just so good on the ground, and she controls women so well, and Bruna Brazil will be no different. She's just so good in the stand-up as well. She's able to get to those takedowns without spending much energy as well. She's able to tag girls on the feet as well as not being just a pure grappler. Look for Bruna Brazil to be in a bit of shit and to maybe get finished inside distance, but we're looking at submission or decision, seeing as I understand it pays a little bit worse than going literally anything else. You could go Alexia Thanera minus 3.5, but I personally do not like betting spreads. I think it's a little bit too wide, and I think you're not getting the right price for the rounds. Now, Alexia Thanera by submission or decision, you can put on a bunch of parlays. I think this is a lock, and I think this is going to get it done for our first free pick of the day, seeing as I don't see how this one loses. This one's just a free pick. This one's easy, and this one should be light. Now, next on the prelims, you have Navo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez to give you a best bet, and we're going with Navo Sterling to get it done via KO or decision. You could go over 1.5 rounds maybe as well, but I think Bruno Lopez is the guy who opens up just in the right way for Navo Sterling to tag him, that I don't think I'm comfortable taking that under or over 1.5 round pick. I don't know how it's going to go. Navo Sterling should have had 4 KOs in a row so far to start off his UFC career. Instead, he's had lackluster decisions. He's lost rounds to guys that he shouldn't even necessarily be in the octagon with because they're so goddamn bad. They should not be in the UFC. But I do still think here Navo Sterling's very live to get a knockout. The knockout live prop is sitting at minus 180. I think the decision prop at plus 320 has some value on it, but I think we're going to just stay away, pick the KO or decision prop, and just hammer it home to add to a parlay for the best bets. That leads us off into, I believe, the main card, if I'm not mistaken. And this realistically should be one of the easier bouts on the card as well. This is one of the fights that I've been looking forward to. This is one of the fights where the line is getting a little bit longer now, where maybe you could switch your pick, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to hammer it home, and I think I'm going to pick on the main card Yusri Belgawi to get it done against Mansour Abdul Malik. Now, Malik. Yusri Belgawi, again, has been knocked out a couple times inside Glory Kickboxing, 2 by Alex Pereira, and he's got chinned before. Mansour Abdul Malik has had some tough fights in the UFC recently. He went to a draw with Cody Brundage, and that's the red flag. I understand the grappling context of the fight. I know Cody Brundage is hard to take down. I know Mansour Abdul Malik did not expect him to be able to stand and bang with him as well, but Yusri Belgawi is 6'6". This guy is massive. He creates angles on the ground to be able to get out of situations that are just not attainable for other people. I think if he gets dragged to the ground, he's not getting finished on the ground. I think he will continue to move and continue to try and stand up no matter what. And I think Yusri Belgawi, after knocking out Azmat Bakoyev in the 3rd round, I think this is where he starts to shine. I think this is where he starts to push through. And I think this is where he starts to get a little bit of momentum when he takes on Mansour Abdul Malik, where he's going to be able to tag him on the feet. If they stand kickboxing, this is literally Yusri Belgawi's realm. He sits at a plus 115. You could go for a KO or decision prop. Somehow, it's only 5 cents more. So we're just going to pick that money line for Yusri Belgawi to get it done against Mansour Abdul Malik. I think there's just a bit of a question when it comes to Mansour Abdul Malik. I think the fact that he's been such a big favorite in so many of his other fights, you're kind of questioning the line and questioning yourself if you should take it or not. And I'm going to tell you, you probably shouldn't. I think, again, Antonio Tricoli, Cody Brundage, Nick Klein, Dusko Tudorovic. These are not good wins. These are guys who are lackluster in the UFC. This is the bottom of the barrel. This is like you're fighting in one championship still or Cage Warriors. Yusri Belgawi has fought some of the best. Azmat Bakoyev is probably one of the better fighters on the entire UFC roster, from being 100% honest. The guy's got real KO power. I know he's a little bit sloppy and he kind of rushes some stuff and he gasses himself out, but he's still got the power. I'm going to go with Yusri Belgawi. I think he's just got the better momentum. Realistically, I think he's fought the better realm of contenders, and I think even in the MMA world, I think Yusri Belgawi is ahead of Mansour Abdul Malik, and I think he's going to get a knockout this Saturday night, and we're going to go with him on the money line. If you guys want to take that KO prop, again, we're going to talk about props later, but plus 275 hammer it. Mansour Abdul-Malik's been cracked many times. He's eaten a spinning back elbow, spinning back everything. And Yusri Belgari is very crafty in that ring. Now, next, we're going to go to the co-main event, and the reason for that is just because the line is actually pretty nice. Alexa Grasso is taking on Macy Barber, and this is where we can get a little bit of value out of the up-and-comer. This is where we get probably the last piece of good lineage before she drops off the face of the earth after she will lose to the champ most likely, but right now her odds are paying quite well for who she is. Now, I know Alexa Grasso has beaten Valentina Shevchenko before. This is probably just an off night. She has lost 3 in a row. She looks okay in the stand-up, but she is taking on Macy Barber, who has devastating ground and pound and really nasty takedowns. So I'm going to go with Macy Barber to get it done. The future is real, and the future is here, and I think Macy Barber's in the best position of her life. I think this is one of the best spots for her that she's ever had, and I think Alexa Grasso's a perfect contender for her to take on, and I think this is where she takes out another contender in the top 10. I think Macy Barber just needs to keep moving forward, just keep the pace on Alexa Grasso. Grasso kind of starts to fade when she doesn't really get her way, and that happens a couple times in a lot of her other fights. It's hard for her to change her mental status in fights. She has problems where if she doesn't get the significant strike advantage, she starts to fall down, starts to fall apart because she feels like she's behind. She needs to start overcompensating with big shots, which don't actually come through that often. And Macy Barber is one of the girls who's just going to keep moving forward regardless. She's hungry for that contender status. She wants that number 3 spot. I'm going to go with Macy Barber on the line. I think it's value at this point. Minus 185 will get you up to a plus 405 for a 4-pick parlay if you really want to pick it. $25 will get you back 126 if we hit all 4. And the only one you're really sweating, in my opinion, is probably Yusri Belgari. But at that, actually, honestly, you're probably sweating only Macy Barber. And at that point, you're just kind of hoping the girl gets the first round against Alexa Grasso and doesn't allow her to crawl back into the fight, where she does have problems anyway. Now, that's the 4-pick best bets. You can't put Israel Adesanya on there. We're too sketchy about this today. But we're going to give you some props real quick. We're at, 7 minutes? We're going to get you out of here by 10 just to make it easy for you guys. Now, Ricky Simon against Adrian Yanez over 2.5 rounds. Smash it. I think Ricky Simon, Adrian Yanez, we're going to a decision. I think Ricky Simon's going to be able to control him on the ground probably for 3 rounds. I think Adrian has good takedown defense, but I think Ricky Simon's just good enough in each aspect of MMA that Adrian's not. I think the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling is going to come into play in this fight, and I think the vet status realistically is going to hang over Adrian very highly. And I think going distance is probably the way to go. Minus 160 for distance. I think over 2.5 is a little bit better just in case you have a late TKO on either side. But again, you can go either way. Like I said earlier, Alexei Thinera versus Bruno Brazil. We're looking at maybe not to go distance. There is a little bit of value on that prop, a little bit of value of not to go distance, but not a whole lot. If you really want to play it, I would just go Alexei Thinera by submission. It pays 210, and Bruno Brazil's not really getting a knockout, and I don't really see Alexia Thinera hammering her out on the ground. I think she'll just switch to a choke really quickly to just get it done and out of there and back to twerking. But again, not confident with that, so we're just going to skip over it. Nabo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. You can look easily at under 2.5 rounds in this fight. Either guy's probably getting knocked out. Minus 210 will bring you up to a plus 125 for just those two. But if you're not confident on that, you can skip through. I'm going to say it's probably a round 2 finish either way. Plus 265 isn't too bad for that prop as well. You're looking at Casey O'Neill as well, swelling as a favorite now, which I love. Casey O'Neill here against Gabriela Fernandez. I love Casey O'Neill all day. I think she's going to hammer the shit out of Gabriela Fernandez. I think the fact that she beat Kong Wang is inflating her odds just a little bit. I think the public opinion should be all over Casey O'Neill. I know Casey O'Neill has had injuries. I know there's a little bit of an injury worry with her as well for possible future fights, but I think Gabriela Fernandez is not going to insinuate that. I think we're just going to keep moving forward. Casey O'Neill gets it done. We're actually going to go Casey O'Neill by decision as one of the better props of the night as well. Marcin Tybura on the money line is a massive value. Huge UFC vet facing a guy who's got no business being here. Chase Hooper to get it done by submission. Again, you're looking at that pretty good. Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Terrence McKinney under 1.5 rounds. I mean, it should be fucking quick. Ignacio Bahamondes to get it done by knockout. I think that's one of your best props of the night. Tofik Musayev is going to get pieced up. Round 1 for Juliana Rosa and Larian Douglas. You could go either way. I like that a lot. You got Macy Barber, Alexa Grasso. Over 2.5 rounds is probably where you're sitting. Minus 425. I don't know if it's worth it. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. You're probably looking at under 4.5 rounds. sitting at a minus 140. Either Izzy's getting a KO or Joe Pyfer's going to sleep him. I mean, these are probably your better props of the night. I don't mind this too much. Again, we're at 10 minutes right now. We'll give you a parlay and then we'll get you guys out of here. But I don't mind it. Terrence McKinney under 1.5 by KO, over 2.5. Ricky Simon, Adrian Yanez. I mean, look at the value. Terrence McKinney by KO under 1.5 rounds, almost 3.5 to 1. That's very good value. Chase Hooper by just submission against Lance Gibson Jr., who realistically shouldn't be in the UFC. That's very good too. I like Lance Gibson as well today as an underdog. I love that all day. We're going to give you guys those two underdogs, Marcin Tybura, Lance Gibson Jr. Those are probably your best underdogs of the entire night, as well as Yusri Belgawi. But, I mean, Nico Price, you could maybe throw a fiver on. I'm not really too sure, but that's probably where you're looking at for your underdogs of the night. I love those guys. I really think they can get it done. Chase Hooper, a little bit iffy after that Alexander Hernandez fight. Maybe you can just take Lance Gibson out of there and you just put Marcin Tybura and Yusri Belgawi to get yourself a plus 362, and you're running away happy and you're laughing. Now, let's give you a little bit of a parlay. We'll get you guys out of here. I know I said 10 minutes. We're at 11. I tried my best, okay? We're just going to go through the entire card and give you guys just a money line parlay, and let's just do it. So we're going to go with Alexia Thaner to get it done on the line. We're going to go with Navajo Sterling as well on the line. We're going to skip over Ricky Simon against Adrian Yanez. We're a little bit worried about Ricky Simon. We don't know how he's going to perform. I would pick Ricky realistically, but we're just going to skip it. Casey O'Neill, I love all day. We'll skip over Tybura Fortune. We'll also skip over Hooper Gibson just in case. We'll take Ignacio Bahamondes on the line. We'll also take Terrence McKinney, who's getting shifted a little bit on the line towards Kyle Nelson, which is a bit of a red flag for me, but that's okay. Yusri Belgawi on the line. You also have Macy Barber on the line. And then you get a 7-pick parlay, which is looking a little bit rough for 7 picks. You get $500 for that for 25. I know it's rough. I know you're looking at it like, what the fuck am I looking at? Yes, you're looking at a 7-pick parlay that only pays $500 for 25 bucks. But you're looking at some massive favorites. You're looking at 3 massive favorites that are going to hit. Terrence McKinney, you're worried about a little bit, and then you're just sweating Macy Barber, realistically, if I'm being honest. If you guys want to do a prop parlay, if you guys are like that, you can do your Alexia Thaner to get it done. Submission or decision. You can also go Navajo Sterling to get it done via KO or decision. You can also go Ignacio Bahamondes to get it done inside distance, seeing as there's not really a way I see him losing this. Terrence McKinney, you can also go just under 1.5 rounds if you guys are getting a little too sketch. Yusri Belgawi, you can pick on the line. Under 1.5 rounds for Douglas Erosa, and then you can just go over 2.5 rounds for Barbara Grasso. That literally gives you the same outcome. The same exact outcome, and you're not sweating whatever bullshit you were crying about 2 seconds ago. Okay? You can also pick, my 3 favorite, realistically. If you guys are going props for the night, if you guys are trying to bet just 3 props and trying to get yourself some money, I'm going to go with Ignacio Bahamondes to win by knockout. I'm going to go with Yusri Belgawi to win by knockout. And I'm also going to go with Terrence McKinney by knockout. Yeah. That's your 3-pick fucking props. Let's go with the violence parlay of the night. $6-9. 6-9. Yeah, we're going to hit that. Ignacio Bahamondes, Yusri Belgawi, Terrence McKinney. I also like, where's the other one? The other one I like was Navajo Sterling by decision. You want to throw that in there just because you're kind of a demon. It pays you out $3,000 for a 4-pick. Just saying. That's all I got for you guys today, though. That is the best bets. I will send this probably to everybody I know, trying to get you guys into the bets real quick, because I know it's a little bit late, but hopefully you guys can see this, and hopefully you guys can get something down that's not going to rip your bank balance apart. I will be live with every single best bet, too, as well. I'll put them all down in the corner right here, and they will always be there for every single fight, so you guys can see them live if you guys really need to. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. I'll see you guys all later. See you live. What? T-minus 4 hours. Peace.